Rafi and Clee. Live stream, hopefully we don't say
All right, here we are. Hola, you guys.
Hi, everybody. We're live. We're live early.
We
That's
are
never
live
happened
early
before.
because we ran into no issues. Hopefully, we're not like frozen and
Yeah,
stuff.
hopefully.
There's Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. You made it.
And
Everybody
Megan
made it.
McFadden. Everybody made it here. Awesome.
Ellen Reiser, hopefully you had time to shave your legs, as you said. I did not.
Neither did I. Neither did I, Ellen. I did not shave my legs for this. Hello, everyone from Ontario, Canada. Hello,
Hi.
Diana.
Yeah, awesome.
So obviously you guys know that we have had all the drama with Etsy and stuff because there's a whole bunch of videos that we posted about it because apparently that's all we could talk about. Hi.
Hi,
Look at
everyone.
everybody. Looks great. Thank you, Phil.
Excellent.
And so what I'm hoping to do is that anybody out there that still has questions about Etsy, go ahead and get them out here because I would like to close that chapter and move on.
Yes, cough up those questions like a giant hairball, and then let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. Can you guys hear us all right? I'm not sure if you could hear us all right. Hi,
Sounds
Ralph
great.
Yankley, adventure seeking artist. Hi.
Hi, it's
Hi,
Selena,
Tim.
your Pensacola neighbor.
Hi, Selena. Phil Emerson, Dana. Hey, oh my God, so many people here. So awesome seeing you guys.
Yeah, live stream Saturday. Boom
Seeing you
it.
guys. I just said seeing you guys. Yeah.
Well, we can't really see you, but we can kind of see you.
We could see your words.
We're imagining. Your...
Yes, sounds great. Awesome. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just wait until we get to the chat section, and then we'll see what we could cover. I mean, I'll answer as best I can. Obviously, I don't know everything about web design, but I am happy to announce that our website is up and running.
Hooray! It's been so many days of web technical things.
Lisa said, sounds bueno. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, you guys. Hi, John.
Yo-Yo Jin
Hi,
Art
Carl.
said hi from Korea.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, dude, Korea. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just had a small solo show yesterday, and it's super hard to deal with people to sell the works. How do you handle that? I'm sure that I'm not a businessman.
We will
We will definitely make sure we talk about that.
yeah,
when we
yeah,
get to
make
the
sure
chat.
make sure you remember that question.
Yeah, I had a show today too with all the people.
Yep. All right. So, before we move on, did I say everything I needed to say about the things? Yeah,
I
that's
think
basically it. Let's talk about Etsy if you want to talk about Etsy, or if you guys feel like moving on, let's move on. I am open to any and all questions, obviously.
But before we do the chat, you wanted to share the collab lab.
I do, you guys. So on Patreon, we have a collab lab challenge every month, and I wanted you guys to see some of the artworks that were created and how freaking amazing they were.
Yeah, dudes.
The what were the parameters for this challenge?
The challenge was unconventional shades of joy.
And what were the parameters?
Convey tremendous joy using only shades of blue and one unconventional material. And you guys did some really super impressive work.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you because those are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And I'll probably share them in a video as well because I'm stoked. You can see Clee there. with
There's
her.
me with my cloud. I made a cloud. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the chat, and hopefully the chat box is working. All right, so what is Yo-Yo's question?
Okay, so I just had a small solo show yesterday, and it's super hard to deal with people to sell the works. How do you handle that? I'm sure that I'm not a businessman. I, too, am not a businessman. I'm a super big nerd, and I tend to talk people's ears off about nerdy rock facts and metal facts.
Yeah, but I think that that's key, Yo-Yo. We were actually talking about it today because when you go to the market, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you know, that person's a really good salesperson." And to be honest with you, my best results is when I'm not trying to sell anything, when I'm just there talking about my art to people that are interested in it. A lot of people will ask questions, so it's not like you need to come up with something to talk about. People will buy the art if they feel the need to. And the best way to describe that happening is when you are having a conversation with somebody and they just can't stop staring at the work. You got to let it flow on its own. That is a relationship that needs to develop on its own. You're just kind of there to answer any questions that they have about the work and to talk about the work and get comfortable talking in front of people. That's basically it.
Yeah, and you'll get used to knowing like whether somebody really wants to engage with you or whether they're the kind of person that just kind of wants to be left alone. And for the people that kind of want to just do their own thing, I usually will say to them, I'm here if you need me. Otherwise, enjoy viewing my artwork.
Lisa said that we're blurry. Are we blurry?
We're
Please, blurriness is catchy.
My blurriness is rubbing off on you.
Dude.
I don't know. It could be the connection. Are we in focus? Did you clean the camera lens on the computer?
That doesn't have anything to do with anything.
The lady next to me at the market today said, "You're a really good salesperson." And I said, "No, I'm just really chatty. I really just like to talk to the other
Yeah,
humans."
and it's funny. It's because she's very, very shy. So it's not about being an extrovert. It's about just finding a different reason to be there and enjoying yourself as best you can. That's what I would suggest. Don't try to sell. It's not about being a businessman. It's about having fun.
Adventure Seeking Artist said, "One question I have is kind of boring. Sorry in advance. How do you all go about the business side of your art making, adding sales tax to art sales, and keeping track of the monies for tax season?" I have a joke because a lot of our peeps use QuickBooks, and I'm not QuickBooks, I'm Notebooks. I keep track of all the income and expenses in a notebook, like a paper ledger, basically.
Yeah, and because we use Square when we take credit cards and stuff like that, all of that gets separated in there, so she's able to do all of that pretty easily.
Yeah, and most of the programs we run, you set your tax rate for your area, and then it just does the rest. Like Square does it for you.
Yeah.
All the e-commerce things will do it. We set for WooCommerce. Well, we're still working out that for WooCommerce.
Yeah, for online, we're still working on it because those laws seem to change back and forth. So
yeah, nobody even knows with the internet.
We're working on it, and once we know something definitive about taxes online, we'll let you guys know.
Yes, definitely. Kelly Pants, I stumbled across your channel a couple weeks ago and thoroughly enjoy your talks and Clee's extra commentary.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maximilian Worth. Thank you so much for your inspiration and motivation. You're helping me to believe I could really be an artist. Yes, Maximilian, of course you could be an artist. Anybody that wants to be whatever it is that they want to be, and I know I sound like one of those motivators. You can do whatever it is. That's not how I mean it. If anybody else can do it, you definitely can do it. A lot of people think that you need to, that you need to be born into it, or maybe it's Maybelline or something like that. But the fact of the matter is that as long as you keep going and you don't give up, of course you could do it. The only reason that anybody has ever succeeded in the past was because they didn't give up. With the many times that they've hit roadblocks. And the fact is, you're going to hit roadblocks. We've hit so many roadblocks, but we just don't give up. Just don't give up.
Yeah, and
you got this.
It's definitely not Maybelline. It's pushing through all the crying and tantrums and hard times.
Yeah.
Phil Emerson said, "Woo, commerce."
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Woo, commerce.
Lowell, you two are so tech savvy.
Oh, definitely. It's all me.
Yeah, it's
I
all
take all the credit.
Clee's the tech savvy one.
Definitely. I joked that like through this whole process I was helping Rafi in the same way that like when a kid wants to help you like bake something and you're like, "Oh crap, what do I give this kid to do that they won't like mess up anything important?"
Yeah.
And then they give the kid like little, like, "You can hand me things."
You could hand me things. That's fine. Well, and the funny thing is that I'm not very tech savvy. I was actually born after the tech savvy, or before the tech savvy generation. I just I don't stop. I keep making mistakes. I made so many mistakes with our website that it is unbelievable that the thing is still standing. So I just keep making mistakes, and I read things and I watch videos until I figure it out. And obviously it takes me a lot longer to do that, but I don't stop until I get it done.
Yeah, Rafi's secret is that he's doggedly persistent. Kelly Pants said, OMG question. Have you guys ever done a con or strictly stick to markets and art fairs? We did one,
Two.
two,
We did the same one twice.
twice. That's true.
We did, what was it? It wasn't Comic-Con. It was a Fear Fest, like a Fear Con, because they had the ghost hunters and different people there.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. It was here in town.
So there was an artist in town who, he does these like weird deformed dolls. He does these like horror movie type stuff. And he was doing a show and he was like, hey, I've got a booth set up and I'd love it if you came. So it was kind of like comic books and horror movie stuff. So
it was Paracon.
Paracon, yeah. So we did Paracon, and I brought all these like little comic book style Me and It series. They're these little grotesque monsters. So it was like a Captain America grotesque monster and all this stuff. And I went to this show and I didn't have enough pieces. So I brought these big other pieces, things that I knew weren't going to sell at this show. And ironically enough, the 3 big pieces that I brought in did sell, because there was a gentleman there with his daughter who wasn't interested in the show itself, Paracon, but saw my artwork and decided to buy it. So it's weird. It's weird the kind of opportunities that you get no matter where you go, as long as you try them and see if you have fun.
Megasoma Ivory, is it better to create a website or use other platforms like Society6, etc. for selling prints? Which one is more profitable in your opinion?
As far as profitable, obviously it'd be better for you to sell it yourself because your profit margins will be different. But as far as putting it out there and the amount of work that you have to do, essentially with those kind of sites, you put it out there once and then it sells and you get the money. You don't do any more work after that. That's why your profit margins are low. So I always do recommend that you do it anyway. Just have it on your site, but also use Society6. I think I use Redbubble for t-shirts and prints, even though that's not my main place, but I do get little sales here and there from them every once in a while.
I would like to add, well, let's get to this question.
Okay.
Zoe Resner, I always feel like since I didn't go to art school, I might not be able to learn the skills I need. Like I can't be a real painter. Do you guys have advice for believing in yourself?
Yes, Zoe, I did not go to art school. In fact, I failed my junior year art class because I told my art teacher that he had pimples on his butt and he could shove his opinion up his butt.
Beep.
Yeah. So that's rough. You know, for the longest time, I was comparing myself to people that had an education in it. And once I started doing this professionally, I realized that people that have an education in art and people that don't have an education in art are basically starting off in the same place. It's not, you don't have this magical thing happen for you because you have an art education when you're becoming a self-employed artist. Where an art education works is if you're planning on working for someone else as an artist. But when it comes to being self-employed, it really doesn't make that big of a difference.
In my opinion, what makes that big of a difference is putting in the hours.
Yeah, putting in the hours.
Doing the work. It took me several years to really feel like I was mastering what I do, and that's it. I would like to add real quick, guys, we can't scroll the ticker tape down without kind of getting it all wonky. So if we miss your question, please just feel free to retype your question.
Yes. Yeah. That way we could see it, because unfortunately the ticker tape moves up a little bit too quickly for us.
Sonia Brown is asking, basically, if you're an artist but you're only producing around 4 paintings a year, are you setting yourself up for failure?
Okay.
And
so
she loves the outcome, but it can be exhausting and long.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not setting yourself up for failure, but it depends. If you create 4 paintings a year and each one of those paintings is worth about $10,000 and you have a following, then yes, because at the end of the year you're making $40,000. But if you do need to kind of add up the amount of money that you'll be able to make with your art, but that's including prints and everything else. Think about it realistically in that way. How much money can I produce in a year? That's the way that I look at my art production. When I'm producing the art, I basically take whatever price that art is and I check that off as money in the bank because eventually that piece is going to sell.
Yeah, and prints is a good point. So you can be making sort of passive income while you're working on your original pieces. Frank Wonder says, "Hi, which one of you is most likely to end up in prison someday?"
Clee is. Thanks for that question because it is true.
Why is it me? Is it because I'm mischievous?
Yes, you're mischievous.
Oh.
Out of the two of us, I'm like the angel.
Yeah, but out of the two of us, I'm not the one who got arrested, even though you were accidentally arrested, right?
Shh.
Okay.
That wasn't my fault. It was a broken taillight.
Adventure seeking artist, I was about to ask you how you went about selling merchandise, t-shirts. Do you do them specifically on Redbubble, or do you take your designs to a print shop?
You know what? I thought about taking my designs to a print shop locally. Unfortunately, I'd have to buy a bunch. So I use Printful for my designs online because they integrate with, well, they used to integrate with Etsy and they integrate with WooCommerce. So the orders could come in through your website, but they take care of all that and they drop ship it. So that's just easier. The least amount, not the least amount, but the less work that I have to do into production of something that is going to be manufactured anyway, the better. So that's the way I see it. My job is to create the artwork, not to reproduce artwork.
My Alien Art Life asks, I'll be doing my first Friday in August. When you sell pieces, do you tend to bring bubble wrap or paper or something for people to carry them back, or did they just carry the canvas as is?
Well, there were a lot of shows that I did where they carried the canvas as is, and then I started buying like these bigger plastic bags that they could put them in. They were transparent, so other people could see the artwork that they were carrying. With some pieces, I brought plastic wrap so that I'd wrap them. The plastic wrap that you buy at like Home Depot or something.
Yeah, that comes on like the spinny thing.
Yeah, and for a lot of shows, I just brought that little roll of plastic wrap, and I would wrap up the corners of the paintings for them, and then they'd feel comfortable taking them with. Okay.
Let's see. Do you ever get surprised at which of your works become popular? I feel like sometimes I get an unexpected reaction on some things, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. That's why I say, like, when you are debating on bringing pieces to a show, just bring out what you have and put out what you have, because you would be surprised. You will be surprised at the pieces that people gravitate to.
Oh, most definitely. Of course, as artists, we have our own personal favorites, but different strokes for different folks, and people will respond differently to your pieces.
Kim's Crochet and Knits. Hi, Rafi and Clee from Canada. Hello.
Rafi, love the channel, but Clee is the highlight of the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Hopefully she doesn't go to prison. Yes, hopefully. I don't leave the house enough to go to prison, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I use Printful and Squarespace for my website.
Awesome, Tim. Awesome.
Yeah, Printful is good, right? You've had experience
with
Printful?
Yeah, that's actually who I use now.
Has any client ever commissioned Rafi to do a sci-fi fantasy art piece? Have they? Have you done a sci-fi fantasy art piece?
You know what I have? I can't remember. I know that I have because I'm usually fascinated by that kind of stuff. But I've also, I think my son wanted to commission me to put him as Luke Skywalker in the poster from Star Wars.
Oh, yes, that's true.
That's one of them. I can't remember the other one, but I do know just off the top of my head.
Laura Sanders says, love you guys so much. The two of you are such a ray of light. Thank you both for being you and wonderful. Thanks, Laura. That's awesome
Laura.
of you to say.
What is a favorite cell story y'all have?
Oh, man.
A cell story that I have. Oh, well, one of my favorites is when I first, I'll make this quick. When I first got started and I was selling at the flea market, obviously sales weren't really that big back then, so any little thing helped. And there was one day where there was a tropical storm and nobody showed up at the flea market, not even the vendors. And there's Clee and I with our booth and our table, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what are we doing here? Why did I decide to come out? Like there's a tropical storm, and next thing you know, you see these these two white lights come up. Somebody parks their car. They get out. It's under an awning. They walk up directly to my paintings, and they bought 5 of my paintings during a tropical storm,
And then ran them to the
and
car.
then ran them to the car and left.
It
And
was so strange.
it was the first time in my life that something like that ever happened to me, that somebody came specifically during a torrential downpour to buy my artwork. It was the first time that I realized that I had a genuine collector, and that would be my highlight story.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories of yours too. And thinking about those early times, I remember one of my like seashell pearl pieces. A lady fell in love with it, and I remember when she decided she was going to buy it, and I thought it was so priced so expensively at the time, and she said she would take it, and I was like, wait, what? Really? Try not to say that.
There was a lot of really?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, is it better to paint from nature or from a pic? Honestly, I don't see any type of difference in it as far as one being better than the other. I think it depends on what you're working on and what you want the piece to express.
In Florida, it's better to paint from a picture.
Yeah, because it
in
is
the
1,000 degrees
It's
outside.
1,000 degrees outside, for sure.
Thank you. Much love. Welcome.
Curious if y'all consider crafters as artists or not. Yes, I
Yes.
do.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Clee, I have an adorable personality. I can't see you in prison. I can't see you in prison.
Thank you. I don't think I would last.
Laura, I do think that crafters are artists. I think that places like Etsy try to make a separation between that. And I'm not hating on Etsy, but a lot of people see a separation between crafters and artists. I think artists are people that specifically have a medium that they use that is considered art. But a crafter could very easily create something absolutely phenomenal that could be seen as high art. I do believe that.
And doing what I do, people have called me an artist and people have called me a crafter and an artisan in all different terms. And all of them are fine with me. I think it's all art.
Taliel, hi, I'm starting to research how to sell my art. I found you looking into Etsy as an option. What do you wish you knew when you first started selling? What do you wish?
I wish I knew that consistency is important, like be prolific and be creating always and always be offering and sharing new pieces.
Yep.
That really helped me. It kind of took me a few years to figure that out.
Yeah, don't get bogged down by the whole sales part of it, because I know that there's a lot of those artist courses that are like, we could show you how to sell your art, sell. And to be honest with you, that never really got me anywhere, because essentially what you're doing is you're trying to come up with a strategy to try and trick people into buying your art, and art doesn't work that way. Art is not some product that is better than this other product. There is no comparison. Art is something that somebody connects personally with. So what I wish I would have understood very early on was create as much art, get really good at your craft, and show it to as many people as you can, and start developing your following, and be patient. That would have been a good lesson for me, is just be patient. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And don't allow yourself to give up.
Yeah. I also wish I had known that 10 pictures is just as good as 500.
Yes, exactly.
Try not to take 500 pictures. It takes too long to sift through them.
Yeah. Brooke said, hi, I made it. Hi. Puerto Rico.
Let's see. No, I'm lost. People want me to create patriotic art with the craziness in Old San Juan even more. Occasionally it's okay, but not all the time. Any ideas on convincing a potential sale to buy original art?
It's not, you know what? I hear that a lot about convincing people to buy. It just means that they're not your market demographic. You're going to have people that are looking for kitsch things like that, and that's the kind of art that they're looking for. But even those same people will see an original piece and it'll speak to them. So if you're going to create those kind of things, because I understand that you need to eat, so a lot of times you're going to want to create things that are maybe much more popular with tourists or with people around, so that's fine. But always make your original art a very big presence and make that kind of like the backdrop. You know what I mean? And that way, those same people that are buying those small pieces will be very much aware of your original art.
And I would say, like, don't be pressured into something just because you think that you should. I'm never afraid to say, you know what, that sounds cool, but it's really not my jam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I could recommend you possibly to somebody who might be better equipped to produce what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
I recommend artists. I send people to other artists all the time when they ask me for something that's just not something I'm interested in.
Ellen Reiser says, an artist is a maker who brings something into the world that would not have been there if they had not existed. And that's a really great definition
Exactly,
of an
Ellen.
artist.
Thank you.
And also, Lisa says that we're buffering and she's missing things, and we are sorry.
I'm sorry, Lisa. Did we lose the live stream or is it just me? I don't know. Can you see me, sweet Robin?
Let's take a pause here. Are we buffering? Can everyone see us? Etsy is censoring the stream. Oh no.
Oh, I'm hoping you guys, I am working on getting better equipment so that we could do this live stream without so many interruptions.
Nana Beth says if you got the death spin, turn quality down to 480p. Yeah, they can drop the video quality and probably get lots of buffering.
Anna says, how do you overcome perfectionism? I overcome perfectionism by just pushing through the piece and giving myself a deadline. And once that deadline hits, I'm done working on the piece.
I overcome perfectionism by sometimes just having to sit down with myself and being like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're obsessing right now. Try not to.
Yeah, you got to remind yourself that, like, if you're obsessing over something, a lot of times put it away. If you put it away and you look at it, because you could spend hours working on a piece and you're just staring at it and it's going to look not that great to you. And if you put it away and maybe the next day or even 2 days later you look at it, you'll be surprised at what you see.
We're still having some buffering issues.
Buffering on my PC, but not on my iPhone.
Yeah, and some of it is internet connections. I want to see your faces. On our end, is there anything we can try to do?
I don't know. Our neighbors might be using the Wi-Fi.
They might be.
I want to see your faces. I'm sorry.
We're sorry, guys. Charlie B said, hey, guys, Rafi, have you ever done any collage work?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've done collage. I get interested in everything. So I've done collage work. I think one of the first collage pieces that I did was when I was 14. I did a very elaborate collage and mixed media piece for a friend of mine for her birthday, and that was the first time I did collage, and I fell in love with the process.
Deanne said YouTube has been buffering on all the lives I've watched this past 2 weeks.
Oh, YouTube.
Perhaps it's the YouTube. Kathy, is buying art supplies addictive to everyone? I love my husband, but tell him to quit shopping. Well, the answer is yes.
Yes.
It's a problem, and I don't know what to do about it, but it just is. It's a fact of life as an artist.
So some of the advice that I give people is like, when you start making money with your art, make sure that you put a lot of that money back into your business. And I think really secretly that was my excuse for buying much more art supplies than I needed.
Yeah, and the truth is that I would want to buy the quantity of rocks that I buy, whether I was making jewelry with them or not, so it is a really good excuse for just buying rocks.
Shannon Clifford, love from Arkansas.
Hey!
Hi, Shannon.
Arkham Ghost, the two of you have eased more anxiety attacks while painting than I can count. Thank you. Are you two considered fringe thinkers where you are?
Fringe. Are we?
Yes.
We are?
Yes.
I guess so.
Yes. But luckily we have a community of people here.
Yeah.
That we're all kind of tracking on the same page. So.
Yeah, I think I was considered fringe thinker growing up. So it's nice to have a community now of awesome people.
We're all on the fringe together.
Yeah, exactly. Glue and pigment rules. Yes, Phil.
Pigment is fascinating. Are there?
But I love buying art supplies.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just buy them. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with them.
When I met Rafi, I was like, I love to knit. And the truth was, I hate knitting, but I loved buying yarn. I had like a 6-foot bag worth of yarn.
Yeah, it was the bane of my existence when we were traveling on the road because all we had was the space in the vehicle, and there was this bag of yarn that was taking up all this room.
So much yarn. And I was like, it's fine.
Maddie Bowling from Sooner State, Norman, Oklahoma. Hi, Maddie. Are there any custom design requests that you would refuse to do? Yes. There was one when I had I had a big solo show, and this guy walked up to me and said, "I really love that piece. I love the way you do your splatter technique. I want a piece of a guy holding a gun to his head with the splatter technique coming out." And I stopped him right there. I was like, "Okay, I want you to take a look at the rest of my art here and tell me if anything here resembles that whatsoever." And he's like, "No, but it'll be cool, man. This will sell. I got money. I don't care how much it would be. I'll pay it." And I said, no way. Because then I'd have to sit there and create this piece. No way I was going to do that.
Yeah. I once had a human ask me to stamp a less than savory phrase on a bracelet, and I told her that I just couldn't do it. No slanderous or derogatory commentary stamped on your custom jewelry.
New to channel. You two related?
We are married.
We are married.
We're a husband and wife unit.
If we were related and married,
that would be a different channel.
Yeah, that's right.
How did you guys meet?
I was on the fringe growing up. Yes.
Us too.
How did you guys meet?
The story of how we met is kind of crazy and kind of long, so perhaps we will do a short, random facts about us video.
Yeah, we'll do a random facts about us video if you guys want to see that.
I do feel like we were brought to one another in magical ways.
Yep, it's going to be very cheesy, that random facts video.
That's me and seed beads, Oh, yeah. And there's so many varieties of those. Oh.
Lowering resolution didn't change anything for me, but leaving and re-entering helped a lot on the PC.
So that might be a thing.
Well, thanks,
to try.
Mac.
And it worked for Lisa. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, good.
So if you're having problems with it buffering, it might be YouTube, so just leave and come back. Have you ever tried bookbinding? No, but I am fascinated by bookbinding, and I would love to try bookbinding.
What percentage of your art do you keep for yourself? Question for both of you. Go.
Okay, I don't really keep that much art for myself, but I do keep art for Clee whenever she begs for it.
Sometimes I'm like, can I have that? And as far as my artwork goes, it's really very infrequently. I would say like maybe 1 out of every couple hundred pieces that I make speaks to me in that way.
Well, the thing is that when I create art, if I am creating something that is specifically for me, then I'm going to keep it. I don't know. When I'm creating something, it's because I have an idea and I want to see it out in the world. Then it belongs to the world. Does that make sense? That might be really cheesy, but that's how I feel.
If you're going to keep it, then you're creating it deliberately for yourself. And I do that sometimes too. And then once in a while, I don't mean to keep things, but I do.
Good for you, bravo. I wouldn't do it either. Yeah, no way. No way would I take on a commission like that.
Yes,
hola,
cheesy.
you amazing artist. Hello, James Gaskins.
Hello. Yes, cheesy video, please. They want to know our story of how we met.
All right, so we'll have to remember that so that we can put it together.
Yeah.
We love stories with cheese. Yes, cheesy. Okay, cheesy video.
All right.
Start singing the Deliverance theme. How do you find time to create with running a business, YouTube, Patreon, and everything else?
Tell me about it.
All right, Laura, I will be putting together a video about the technique that works for me as far as keeping it. This is very recent, and this is what has worked for me. And it's going to look kind of crazy on there, but I'm going to do a video where I explain this. And somehow I'm able to do everything because we do a podcast, I write a blog, we have a newsletter, the YouTube videos, Patreon, we have a vlog channel as well. I started doing Skillshare where I have a class, and we also do podcasts and motivational things and all kinds of things like that. So
yeah, we added Podbean to the mix.
yeah, so it would seem like I have no time to create, but with this, I actually have a lot of time to create and am able to take 2 or 3 days off if I wanted to. So it's kind of crazy. I was thinking about it today. I was like, I really need to share this with you guys because it's working. This is new though. That's not how it was. I was driving myself crazy.
And this is like Mach 15
Yes,
of the schedule.
Mach 15.
Mach 15.
Secretly Mach 27, but we were not going to talk about that.
Sweet Robin asks, how do you respond to negative reviews? I try to learn from them, and that sounds super cliche, but one of the negative reviews that I can recall, they actually had a really good point in that I wasn't depicting the earring size well, so I learned from that. And
Give me 1 second. He
What?
said I shook my phone in the air and the buffering stopped.
Oh, yeah. That is a good technique.
That's the way my family does. They're like, poof, poof, poof. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I tried to learn from the negative review that in that case there was something that I could do to improve the situation. I also sent them an email stating that if I could make it right in some way, that I would.
What I always do is I look at the source. So if it is and I look at the source and I look at the way that the review is worded. If the review is hateful, then I don't take it seriously at all. I don't take it as constructive criticism.
Yeah, good point.
If the review is coming from somebody and is worded in a way where maybe it bothers me, but it is constructive and it is not mean, then I'll try to get out of my own head and my own butt hurtness and look at the review and see if there is anything to it. But a lot of times when somebody is giving you something negative where it is like a hurtful negative review, most of the time I just ignore them. They're not even worth paying any attention to.
Carl White, been approached to do an event that seems pretty cool. I want to do it but don't have enough inventory. Should I raid my gallery wall to make up the difference? I've done it.
I've done it too. I've done it,
I try
Carl.
not to make it a common practice, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
And then you just bring it back, whatever you have after the show.
I've done the gallery walls. I've taken down pieces that, were in the house. I was like, I could use this over there and I could sell that because, you could always create another one.
Yeah. Richard B., I find your voice is very interesting. Have you ever considered doing voiceover work at all? I tell Rafi all the time that he has such a nice voice and I listen to him talk forever and ever. Yeah.
Whenever I am editing a video, all I feel is that I have the most nasal voice
No, it's good. It's such a good
in
voice.
the world. It took me a long time to be able to edit a video without cringing all the way through.
Kelly said, how do you not buy other people's stuff at fairs? We do.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Not all the time, but if you see something that you really love, it's totally awesome to support that artist and take it home.
And we give ourselves a little tiny buying budget whenever we do a fair. Yeah.
Every time I sell a painting or sculpture, it's like I'm selling something very personal. I have 350 paintings in the house. Is this common? I would say yeah.
Yeah. It is common. I've got a lot of paintings here in the house, but I would sell every single one because, like I said before, when I'm creating something for the world, I'm creating it for the world. So it doesn't, in my mind, somewhere there's a switch that gets flipped that says this piece doesn't belong to me. I'm just holding on to it until that person finds it.
Dizzy Stitches Crochet. Hi, Clee and Rafi. New sub here.
Hi.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Donna, Clee, you are funny as heck. I'm going to say heck because it's live on YouTube. You two would do well talking about anything.
Aw,
Thanks, Donna.
thank you.
That's awesome. Do you view postcards ad passe?
Do you view postcard as passe?
As passe.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't view them as passe. Do you?
I think they're cool.
Yeah.
Whenever I like someone's art a whole lot at a show, but I can't necessarily afford it or don't have room for it, I like to buy little postcards of their stuff. I think it's neat.
Yeah.
I have a few that are framed.
Yeah, we have
places.
a few of them that are framed in our bedroom.
Yeah, I like them.
Because we do have that budget. We go to so many art shows that we wouldn't be able to afford to buy giant pieces all the time. So sometimes a $5 postcard, that's perfect. Okay.
I take the pot kettle approach when it comes to electronics. Oh, look it up, you youngins. I'm going to look that.
You don't know who Pa Kettle is?
No?
Uh,
Oh, you do. You'll have to fill me in.
yeah. As typo, pardon. See. Can you work on a 90-hour piece for me for free? I promise you'll get lots of exposure. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, so I'm sure that a lot of you guys have heard that. I promise you'll get lots of exposure. Even for a lot of places that have approached me for donations for like some kind of charity or something, that's one of the lines that they use is, I promise you'll get lots of exposure and you can write this off. I say that no matter what, you always take a look. If it's for a donation, take a look at that and see if that is something that you want to do, but not because you're going to get the exposure, because you won't. And anybody that is approaching you to try to get you to create something and they're promising you exposure, tell them that you could expose yourself just by walking out in the street and pulling your pants down and mooning everybody.
Maybe be like, do you want to mow my lawn for free for the next 10 years? I promise you'll get lots of exposure. Richard B. People don't normally like the sound of their own voice, though. I love the sound bites in music, too. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Have y'all used materials from thrift shop or yard sales to get broken pieces of things or broken jewelry to modify into something? If not, I would love to see what y'all would make from such project.
I have, and in fact, there is. I was talking to somebody the other day about doing a series where I go out and find random pieces, like because we're doing the Art Collab Lab thing where we're doing the monthly challenge. I want to push myself even more outside of my comfort zone into more divergent thinking. And I think that is a brilliant thing. I've definitely gone to thrift stores, but I want to create some really, really funky things with some of the stuff that I could find.
Ellen said the buffering just got a lot worse. Tell that guy to shake his phone in the air again. Oh, yeah, it seems that we are buffering quite a bit. We're getting the buffering happening.
Well, it's not coming from us, I think.
It might just be
It might be coming from the YouTubes.
The YouTubes and the internet connections.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah. I will say while we wait for the buffering to pass that when I started making jewelry, I liked to take people's broken jewelry that they would bring to me and redesign them into new pieces with random parts from other pieces they had. So not the same as thrift store things, but still kind of the same concept.
Okay, thought it was my internet. Refreshing usually helps. Did it not help? Let me see what is going on. You know, YouTube has been kind of weird this week. The other day when I was uploading a video, it gave me a bunch of errors while I was uploading it. Have to click refresh. Okay. So if you guys are buffering, click refresh and see if that works. Etsy Heart Project causes YouTube buffering.
Try shaking your modems.
Shake your modems.
Are the artist trading cards going to be themed monthly? When does it start?
Oh, it is going to be themed monthly, and I'm going to start it next month. Now the members only part is going to be on Patreon. But I will be accepting stuff from just anybody. So they'll be slightly different parameters for those.
Yo-Yo Jen said, you guys are awesome. Got so many advice for many of my projects. Thanks a lot. You are most welcome.
Most welcome. Thank
us.
you.
YouTube has been a hot mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you speaking German?
What? Now we're speaking German?
I really enjoyed the video watching you paint. I would also like to watch Klee creating. Thank you for all the time you spend making the videos. I really enjoy them.
Thanks, Donna. Thank you.
We're trying to get video of me. My stuff is so small. It's a lot harder to film me working on stuff with the cameras that we currently have.
Yeah, but we will. We will. We're going to do something really cool with Klee creating jewelry.
Yeah.
I find it difficult in getting started with my Patreon account. I am nervous asking for money and making my first video. Any advice? So I'm still working on figuring that out. I have a lot of, I tend to overdo things And I know that I've totally jumped on Patreon and done a whole bunch of things that even my patrons on there are like, Rafi, you could slow down a little bit. You're fine. But I'm still figuring that out. And then as soon as I figure something out, I will definitely put a video together. But as far as giving you advice now, don't be nervous. Don't see it as asking for money. See it as people wanting to support you. That was one thing that, if I could say that I learned anything from my patrons, is that they're there because they want to support you and what you do. And obviously, if they're going to support you, you want to support them. It needs to work both ways. So figure out your way of supporting them when they support you. That's my very limited advice right now.
Yeah, and it's money that allows you to connect even further and do more awesome things that you can share with your patrons. It's really a cool thing.
Have you ever created art while inebriated in any way?
Those were darker times.
Those were darker times. I have created art, and I was definitely inebriated. And I think the song "Everybody Hurts" sometimes
that
was playing in the
different,
background.
It's a different story for me with that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nowadays I really so thoroughly enjoy being just totally in whatever I'm working on and so focused on it that usually I'm just.
Now, don't get me wrong. For the live stream, we enjoy having a small shot of whiskey.
We're having some
I don't know if
bourbon.
we could advertise that.
Well, I don't know, but it's
A
happening.
small shot of yellow juice.
It's definitely Kool-Aid.
Got to go. Take care.
Oh,
See ya.
bye. Thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, it's getting to about that time. So yes, supporting awesomeness. How do you feel about seemingly huge difference in how much people charge for art pieces? I see some people selling drawings similar or better to mine for sometimes half the price. You know, Molly, there's no control over that. That's why I don't even pay attention to anybody else's prices. I just price my stuff fairly for what I think it's going to be, because it's all across the board. You're going to drive yourself crazy if you look at all that.
I completely agree. I try not to pay attention to the other prices for things. I use formulas for my work. I price them at what feels comfortable, and that's that. Live and let live with that.
Crone me, you two are young. You could burn the candle at 4 ends, 2 + 2. Then when you're old, you can retire in Tahiti. Oh, wait.
That was
Cezanne. Yep. Lisa, yes, supporting awesomeness. Aw, thank you, Lisa.
Lucy said, yellow juice. Mac M said, did Klee create your wedding rings?
Yes.
Yes, Rafi has 2 wedding bands.
You're not going to be able to see it, but I'll show you in a video.
One is thin that he loves the most, and one is thicker. And actually, Rafi's dad created my engagement ring, and it's amazing. He's a master jeweler. Rafi created my wedding band, and there's a different story, which we will tell in our How We Met video about the first band.
It's one of the interesting things about my dad. You guys know that my dad was not very supportive of me when I was a teenager, but he is a master jeweler. That's the family business that I grew up in. I am actually 3rd generation master bench jeweler.
If you were a jeweler.
If I was a jeweler, I know how to do all the jewelry stuff. I just don't want to because that's what I grew up in.
Yep. But he got a daughter-in-law.
Yeah. Daughter-in-law.
That is a jeweler.
She loves jewelry, and it's cool because I could help her whenever she has questions and things like that.
Yeah,
so
when I'm
out.
like, how do I do this?
Yep.
Yep.
Do you have advice for things that you can sell on a smaller scale? I am working on some mini paintings, and I do art prints too, but I like to have fewer lower priced items. Yes, I do. Basically, what I do is I'll create paper things. Dad, let me do a video about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good
it'd be a little
topic.
bit more involved. There's several products that we could work on. Donna, thank you for sharing your sarcasm and awesomeness. Oh, thank you, Donna.
Thank you guys for being here and supporting us and enjoying our awesomeness and
Yeah.
sharing your awesomeness. You guys are hilarious and wonderful, and this is one of our favorite things here.
Arkham's Ghost. Do either of you have profound paranormal experiences? Is your current house haunted? Not currently, but
Our house is not haunted, but Rafi has some crazy paranormal stories, which maybe we'll share in a random video.
maybe
at
for
some point.
Halloween. Maybe for
Ooh,
Halloween.
Halloween special.
I'll tell you, it's not nice. You'll see.
I've never heard of anything like your stories growing up.
Yeah.
It's intense.
All right, so we will probably have to be saying goodbye. Just saw you guys over the past week, long-term Etsy seller, and you guys, your attitude and positively really eased my mind this week. Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for watching us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't forget to click the thumbs up, Nina Beth.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, thanks so much for all you do.
Thank you.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
Don't leave me, said Joe. We would love to hear the stories, scary or otherwise. We'll have to do a random Rafi and Klee series.
We'll do a few random Rafi and Cleve videos for you guys to enjoy.
Yep.
All right, so let's see. I've got announcements here. YouTube live stream. The next one is going to be August 21st, and hopefully they got their buffering thing under control at 7 p.m. For Patreon, we got the Google Hangout July 31st, and the Patreon live stream is August 14th. And I already announced that the website is up and running. And for anybody that was ever looking at any of our pieces, we are doing a guinea pig discount of 25% off. So,
For being our test subjects.
yeah, because we're still testing it out. So Awesome25 is the discount code for that if you're interested. And obviously, these are all the places that you could find us. I'm not going to keep it on the screen forever, but we do have a podcast, which is I'm pointing at here, and it doesn't matter because you can't tell.
No, they can't.
And that's it. That's it. Thank you so much, you guys. Gina, Joe, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Very
Yeah.
nice to meet you, too. Peace, love, sweet Robin. Thank you, sweet Robin.
We really enjoyed this. You guys, if we missed any of your questions, we are sorry. We will definitely be doing videos on some of these topics in the future, and we really appreciate you guys being here.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And Clee's going to remind me of all the thingies.
Yes, I am. I'm going to write them down immediately following this live stream.
Joe Pearson. Mwah.
Mwah!
All right. Adios, you guys.
And good day and good evening.
All right. Now I'm going to do this thing where I try to figure out how to stop the stream.
Yeah, you don't know where the end stream button is.